Oh, I'm sorry. That was just the moment of silence for the mouth agape amazement and how we've had a consistent good run with Korra. Now, granted, me being an Avatar fan, I know how this goes, but yeah, I can't help but relive when I originally saw the season. Well, and the scarcity of whatnot. Again, it's so weird how we went from expecting greatness from Korra to being shocked that this season was consistently good. God, it really shows how much of a number Book 2 did on us. So, without further ado, let's go with the aptly named In Harm's Way. This is Chapter 4 of Book 3 of Legend of Korra Changes. You know, this couldn't have been any more meta if they called this season Book 3 Redemption.
We're sorry.
We're so very sorry.
Alright then, you know the drill. Start at the intro logo with Tenzin's monologue, and 3, 2, 1, click.
We'll be good, we promise.
And hey, on the plus side, they keep some of the best things from the first 2 books, like, you know,
Hey,
Jeff Bennett.
The intro.
Please forgive us. The Nickelodeon was hardly making our lives any easier.
Yeah, that is true. Not that it excuses all the problems, but nonetheless.
Well, of course not. I mean, there's plenty of Hollywood films that got executive mandated, but still had shitty decisions made from the directors and writers.
You know, I have to wonder how much Avatar's future would have fared better if the show was picked up by Disney or Cartoon Network. Granted, back then, when the original
Cartoon
Avatar...
Network.
Well, remember, Dibs, this is back when the original Avatar show was...
Hello. I'm thinking she's not that happy. I'm kinda getting that vibe.
Well, would you be happy in an ultra super secret underground ice prison
I'd
where
be
it's freezing
cool,
cold?
yo.
I'm stuck in prison. I'm happy.
That was terrible.
Hey,
I don't know what she
Zuko.
sounds like.
Actually, no, I'm referring to what I said.
Hey, Zuko.
At least we didn't say a storm is coming.
Him.
Zahir.
Remember?
Is one of our main villains.
Someone day to see that kind of bobcat just sliding through.
Well, antique Bobcat, but yeah.
Feel my snow, fire scum.
Oh, what's this? Is there some history between you two?
Put away once, eh?
Of course, back then Zahir didn't have airbending, so this may be a bit tougher.
Well, at least now the siblings are actually using their skills for good.
Yeah, and again, in an interesting means of bending. It may come off as a nitpick, but did anyone else notice that in the first 2 books of Korra, a lot of bending got resorted to just punches and kicks and not really much of the extravagant motions that defined each bender?
And if there were any, I think if there were any, from what I recall, it was mostly from Korra. Whenever she used stuff that wasn't firebending.
Yeah.
Felt frozen out of our conversation?
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
You know, fun fact, actually, back when she was originally shown in a trailer, the face wasn't quite as clear, so some people actually theorized that she was Azula aged up older afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
Granted, nowadays we can clearly see that that's not the
So-
case.
So it's Princess Daisy from the
That one-
live-action Mario movie.
That wouldn't really work.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god, that's right, yes, this woman is actually voiced by Daisy from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
No,
Really?
I just made a joke because she had the third eye in the movie, and
She did?
well, she has a, well, apparently Princess Daisy in the Mario Brothers movie had a third eye.
No, Dweebs, it's from Super Smash Bros. Melee. People hacking her trophy found an eye behind her head.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought that was from the movie.
No.
Nah, in the movie she's just a dinosaur turned human, because dinosaurs evolved into humans in that movie.
Well, what the hell, that makes sense.
Oh, Zahir's got an
Aw.
old fling.
Eyes on the road, mate.
Huh.
Oh no, wait, he's driving. He's like,
Come on, guys, it's not nearly as cool if you're snogging while I drive a getaway car.
I mean,
now's
it's
not the time.
It's third wheeling, but the poor dude doesn't get the option not to.
Literally third wheeling, he's behind the wheel. Hey, that's actually a funny joke now that I think about it.
Oh, so they got diaries. Are they diaries?
Diaries,
No, it's
journals.
passport.
Oh, passports, yeah. They'll need those.
Okay, so what he just said was the leader of the current leader of the this kingdom is forcing airbenders to be part of her army.
Yep.
So how do we get them out?
We'll see.
Well, our characters don't know that yet.
Well, that guy just told Bowen and Marco.
So yeah, Zami's now Korra's personal trainer, apparently.
Sparring partner. Well, at least Korra's found a good way to let off steam and not let her anger get the better of her.
Panda.
Well, not so much, but whatever.
Oh, well, exercise is a good way to actually work off stress.
No, I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking to you.
That's what they should have done with the Korra video game. Just make it a spin-off boxing game or something.
For Kinect.
Oh wait, the Wii was out at this point. And Bowen's dead. Yeah. The next time I see her, there she is.
You.
Better than nothing.
What, are animals banned in the kingdom?
Well, remember, the Earth Queen doesn't like them.
Ah, okay.
How nice.
The sarcasm.
Oh, she's allergic.
The effects of the last two seasons are still lingering. She's allergic to bad seasons of shows. Not to worry, I could just sidewipe my way out of the scene.
Who do you think you are, the Queen of Hearts?
Kinda.
Not too far off.
Is it now?
Well, thankfully the Earth Queen ain't exactly the most tech-savvy one.
Yeah.
Nor is she the brightest, apparently.
That's what happens when you live a life of luxury with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah, just has to be Cage.
A hog monkey, I can only imagine.
But what? But what will I do without my love interest?
You're young, you'll find another one.
Yeah.
You'll do some more spirit stuff.
But Teo, he's like the one thing that potentially can develop my character aside from being Jesus.
Everyone says so the
Well,
first time.
Janora, this season is about you getting out of that. Anyway, who's ready to go back to Lake Laogai, guys?
Really? Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait,
You're
hold
me-
on. Wait, they're actually explaining what Janora did. Holy cow, I forgot this season did that.
Wait, damn it, I missed it.
Yeah, you know, it's a simple explanation or whatnot. It also
Anyway.
explains...
I couldn't follow it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I understand if the queen wanted to keep the daily and everything, But she's still using that underwater prison of Lake Laogai?
It's a
She
thing
didn't
that-
build actually a new one?
It's a thing that the general public of Bossing say never knew about, so hey!
It's 70 years! The place is probably gonna crumble down any moment!
Tio. We said it's at Lake Laogai. We didn't say it was the same quarters. Earthbending you can easily earthbend a new set of quarters with enough
True,
time.
that I suppose, yeah. Okay.
With earthbending, you can easily get around that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably even repair some of the damage.
Let's not
Fair
forget
enough.
the Daily made a ditch effort to collapse the tunnel originally back in the day, so they can probably just as easily rebuild.
So yeah, it turns out Kai was just kidnapped, kind of. All right, now stand there and don't become a self-absorbing Jesus. You think you can do that?
Gonna
Okay.
be tough.
If you become Jesus again, you'll probably lose what's little there is left of your viewership. Okay?
So basically, if her ability that she got from Book 2 was
Astral
essentially...
projection.
Yeah, it's essentially an extension of what a monk could do. You know, you hear all about monks detaching themselves. Janora kind of picked up that ability. It's not as powerful as it was because, you know, back in Book 2 that was harmonic convergence. But she can get a small flicker here and there.
It's like a dodgy internet connection or a dodgy TV reception.
I'll give the
It's the lagging teammate that you'll get in your game.
I'll give the writers credit. It was kind of a ballsy move to actually try and work with Janora as a character instead of just cast her off to the side after the backlash people had to her in Book 2.
Just don't say like Lao guy.
I'm still a bit miffy that that only Janora can do this, though.
Well, they're gonna establish later that not only Janora can do this or whatnot, but because of some interminglings and the fact that Janora was, you know, caught up, kidnapped in the spirit world, that may have had something to do with it. And admittedly, it's probably better to use that rather than say that, oh, Tenzin could also do this, he just never realized it until then, because then that just leads us down plot hole avenue, then.
Ow. Come on, if you can't catch these frisbees, what good are you?
But airbenders are normally more defensive. Ow.
What, 95%? Not so bad, right?
I guess 95% isn't enough.
Into the black hole with you.
Throw him into the hole. That sounds like something the Baron Samedi from the Atmosphere VHS sequel would say. Hit the hole!
Jesus.
Yeah, I actually wonder, what would the Avatar equivalent of the Gatekeeper be?
I wonder.
I don't know.
But it's not as overpowered as it was because
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
because the plot of Tomb Raider isn't on anymore. So, yeah. The first film, I mean.
To start.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Well, snap. It wasn't under Lake Laogai, actually.
Oh, it was right under our noses.
Okay, that's actually kind of a clever double bait
Maybe
and
this
switch.
is just the back door.
I love when a plan comes together.
Well, he's not a military genius for nothing. He's a crazy genius, just like his namesake.
At least he's tried to come up with something.
There isn't a single genius that isn't a little bit off the rails.
Tell me about it. Oh, hey,
Hello.
Lynn.
Oh my god, it's oh,
Hey, congrats! You got more airbenders in the world, but one of them turns out to be rather evil.
Shit happens, bro.
and
Yeah.
they're after Korra.
About
Time
that.
for backstory.
I'm just gonna skip ahead. 10
Explain,
seconds.
please.
Oh yeah, Sokka was cheap, by the way, at the time.
Okay, great. At least we get to hear more of what happened to Sokka.
Mm-hmm. So it
Can
turns
we
out...
actually see it, though?
So it turns out the main reason that Korra was sheltered away in Season 2 was because of the Red Lotus. It's a retcon for a retcon, but at least now we're at a stance where it doesn't come off as them just keeping her sheltered
Being
for no
dicks.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
Lin, not for nothing, but the last season literally ended with a kaiju fight. I get that this is a different type of threat, but you don't get to say that they're worse than that.
Well, you might want to wait and see.
Unless these guys have a Megazord in their pocket or something, I'm not buying it.
Let's put it like this. Bigger isn't always better. Sure, the kaiju was threatening and all, but when you get down to it, the guy behind it was kind of a moronic villain when you get down to
Hello.
it.
I mean, the kaiju fight wasn't all that interesting.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm just
It
just
was
telling.
exactly like a fight in
Okay,
Pacific.
okay.
I'm just telling in terms of power level.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's a better example. The
It was
giant...
out of place. That's the problem.
Okay, here's a better example. The giant kaiju at the end of Book 1 of the original series, Water, yeah, that was threatening and all, but that wasn't nearly as threatening as the Avatar state itself. And not to mention, also, it's like, well, for as threatening as the Avatar state could be, Azula proved that you don't exactly need an Avatar state to counter the Avatar state. Again, Azula was way smaller than, the threat that threatened the whole Water tribe in Book 1, but she proved to be all the more threatening. Again, there are plenty of examples where just because something is more massive doesn't mean it's always the worst thing.
Who are you? I'm Peter Pan, and I'm here to get you out of here.
Even if you live here, they probably
Well,
prefer being out of the city.
It's a good thing that there is no psychopath among these children who actually enjoys the life that we're having and is turning on them.
To be fair, those kind of people probably would get a more privileged room.
So, I
Walkie
suppose.
talkies.
Well, at least it's a prototype with.
Yeah. Very covert.
Well, it's not perfect.
I think the exploding jelly would have been more covert. At least then, bang, and you have a few minutes to get them out.
Rein it in.
I would say get a room, but we're technically in one, so.
And it's a cell.
And stealing other people's wallets, so.
And
I'm sorry about stealing your wallets and your money and going on filling all the
yes,
stuff
we
up.
can.
Jova, you probably know, what was Ben 10's real last name?
Ben Tennyson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
That's
had
so-
a last name.
Yeah,
That's
Tennyson.
so-
Yeah, that was his
Cool.
last
That-
name.
that-
Tennyson.
that's-
I didn't even
that's-
knew that.
That's
Oh.
That's so corny. Well,
It
I was gonna say, come on, Ben Tennyson, we're getting you out of here.
He really does look a bit like Ben 10.
It's
I had
it's
to
the
leave
face.
it
Like
my
I said
head.
before, it's the face. It's his face looks just like it.
I had the name in my head, but I didn't want to say it out loud because I was like, that can't be right.
The Earth Queen has invited you all to Lake Laogai.
It was written by Man of Action, so I'm not that much surprised.
Gray morality! Oh, great.
Strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Sorry, Queenie, but in this particular case, while you're legally on the upright, you're morally on the
Oh,
Actually, by using
finally.
the whole... Wait,
Finally,
by using-
someone manages to contrast those fucking Earthhand. I was waiting.
I
for
know,
it.
right?
Like no one in the first franchise managed to do something about those.
To be fair, I think actually, yeah, that's a good point.
I'm surprised at this point no one, like, say, like a jokester airbender or something like that, has used airbending to grab a hand and was like, quit hitting yourself. Quit
Well, to
hitting
be fair,
yourself.
Dweebs, there weren't really that many airbenders around until now.
Or like earthbenders.
I mean,
sorry,
earthbender.
You know,
yeah.
we probably don't know much about the law in this particular
it-
place, but I have to ask, using
Oh, look at that. Looks like Janora is a dumbass in distress. A strong female that is strong except when she gets grabbed by a
except
big
when the
old
plot
man.
demands it, of course.
Yeah.
To be fair, almost anyone gets incapacitated by those earth hands when they get grabbed by them.
Yeah, for some reason.
It's because they're
Anyway.
very strong, and when they clamp around you, it really hinders your motions to do bending. That's another thing.
In Sami's case, it was when the plot demanded it.
Well, yeah, that's Asami, and that was book 1. Oh,
But
God.
anyway, we might not know much about the law in this, but I still have to ask. You know, the Queen goes all about this, like, all this treason and shit. Isn't her methods
So
of
it's-
controlling her citizens considered a war crime?
Well, Shiroi, in case you haven't
Pride
noticed...
is a bitch, Shiroi.
Yeah, okay, first off, here's the thing. Bureaucracy. Secondly, Ba Sing Se is kind of a sucky city, but it just happens to be the capital of the Earth Kingdom. And let's just say, technically, the Earth Queen does
Wow,
make the
really?
rules.
Wow, it really is the London of Avatar.
Also
Yep.
Dweebs, so it's treason then.
Yeah. Ah.
Let me put it like this. This is a case where treason is doing what is morally the right thing just because she gets to
What an
decide what's
idiot.
right or wrong.
So, yay, I guess we have another villain now.
Well, we've escaped the Earth. Well, we've escaped Ba Sing Se for now.
I think she was more angry about the bison.
Come with me, we want to leave.
Well, luckily Tenzin's giving them a choice, actually.
Or you can work with me at the Daily Bugle and get me some.
I mean, to be
yes.
fair, they did just come from Ba Sing Se. Like, unless you
So
live in...
anything's better right now.
I mean...
Tenzin is so happy. You can...
Come on, he's earned this by this point.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah,
about it.
Let him have this.
What if he's gonna be he's gonna be their master, considering? Well, he's an airbender, obviously.
Well, yeah,
And
I
he's
kind
the
of
most
need to instruct
experienced
them.
one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this is
Of
a...
course.
Plus he's got to know.
What's wrong, too?
The line, of course, this is just
This is
the
just
beginning.
the beginning.
Eh,
Plus he's gotten over, him trying to be like gang.
I've heard more cliche lines.
So, yeah. See, so unlike
Long
book...
time no see.
So unlike Book 2, Tenzin's own plot will not be relegated to subplot territory, and it will actually
And
have
for
good
once, the
impact
words
on it.
decides to be a bit more merciful with him.
Tell me about it. So yeah, another interesting development. The Earth Queen is... Well, holy cow, the Earth Queen is freaking vile.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Just
a lot of other
tad.
stuff has come to change.
All right.
So, thoughts on
Anyway.
this episode?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
it was fun.
fine.
Again, it's interesting how they're giving us more lore that thankfully helps fleshing out stuff, and again, they're explaining stuff that Season 2 couldn't be ours to explain. How wonderful.
Or
Yeah.
either couldn't be asked or just couldn't.
True.
Or wouldn't.
It
Like,
really
I don't-
does show that something definitely changed with, Brian and Mike to help get them back in their rightful heads or whatnot. Granted, it probably helps that they also
it was
maybe
the
dispersed. Yeah, I mean, look, you can mute out certain things. You cannot mute out the outrage that Book 2 produced. Oh boy. But yeah,
Alright.
that's another good episode down, so we'll see the new developments in episode 5, The Metal Clan.
Well, goody.
Goody.
See ya.
See ya.
Alright.
See you then.
Yeah.